Hi everyone, Barbara Moore here, Catch Your Breath 60. Just waiting for some people to come online now. So there's a lot of new people on my page, and I thought this week that I would do a brief introduction. Hi Susan, thank you for joining us today. My name is Barbara Moore, and in 2016 I was diagnosed with COPD. I actually yesterday celebrated my 3rd anniversary it was 3 years since I had finished rest rehab. And I know, hi Sandra, thank you for joining us. I know a lot of us have been through rest rehab. If you haven't been to rest rehab, get there. It is absolutely fabulous. And it was one of the best times that I had in my recovery. It was something that was challenging, it was renewing, and it put everything into perspective for me. So 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with COPD, and I had my first major exacerbation. I had 2 sudden cardiac arrests because of COPD and ended up in the hospital on life support. And so my journey started 3 years ago, and I have, with the help of family and friends, been able to get to where I am today. And it's been kind of a rocky road, you know, when I think back at all that I've been through in the last 3 years, and everybody knows what I'm talking about if you have a chronic illness. It doesn't have to be COPD, but this is kind of what affects me, as COPD and heart disease. So my daughter, who is a social worker, said, I think that you should write a blog. I think you should tell your story. And so I started writing my story about 2 years ago. And an interesting story, I think it is. A lot of people have wanted to hear the story and have talked about it. So what I did was I started a blog. And the thing about the blog is that, hi Karen, hi Jackie. The thing about the blog is that you have to name it, right? So I sat down with my daughter, and we decided we'd come up with a name for my blog. And she said, one of the things that I always hear you saying is, let me stop and catch my breath. And so the blog was born, and the name became Catch Your Breath. And it was, the number 60 is because I was 60 when I was diagnosed and when all of this stuff started happening. So that's the story of my blog and how we got to Catch Your Breath 60. And I'm laughing about it because I was so optimistic when I first started. You know, I went back to work after my first exacerbation, and I really thought, like, I am going to burn the world right now, right? Because I had all of the skills from rest rehab, and I thought, I'll go back and I'll just recreate my new life and it'll be fabulous, right? Of course, it didn't work out that way, as many of us know. So anyways, that's how we get to Catch Your Breath 60, and I hope that you are reading my blogs and enjoying them. Today is World Asthma Day. So for many of us, I know in North America, there's many people who suffer from asthma. Now, asthma is not actually the same thing as COPD. It is treated differently. It is, you have different capabilities. So something that Derek said the other day, and I thought, you know, this is really worth mentioning, especially on World Asthma Day. Asthma and COPD are 2 different things. Different things happen to your lungs when you have asthma than when you have COPD. And so when we're hearing about people who are running marathons and doing triathlons and so forth, these people are saying, you know, I come under the umbrella of COPD, but unless they have COPD and emphysema, they're not the same as us. So be careful about, as much as we like to stay physical, and we need to stay physical, it is our medicine. We have to be careful about who we are following and the reasons why we're following them, and not to follow them until we get sick, right? So we don't want that to happen. So be careful. Asthma is much different than COPD, and its effects, you know, you can jump back from asthma pretty quickly with your puffers. And I've had a few posts up today about our blue puffers. Everybody knows about the blue rescue puffers, right? So somebody with asthma hi Carol, can jump back and recover much quicker. But for COPD and somebody with emphysema, you've got to be a little bit more careful. So today is, or this month is May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think that I probably can't be the only one that's got batshit crazy in my family, right? So I think that my theme this month is going to be mental health awareness and how we should be taking care of ourselves. So I think that, for most of us, I think are baby boomers, because I'm in the younger part of the baby boomers, although it did go to 64, and I was born much before 64, believe me. But I think for many of the baby boomers, we had some mental health issues, and even if you don't realize it as mental health, I want you to stick with me for just a minute. When I think about mental health, I think about the whole person. When I was younger and I was going to school, I was a daycare provider, and I was taking courses in daycare and learning about the child and the whole child, right? So now as we get older and we look at our mental health issues, we should be looking at the whole person. I believe that we should be looking at the whole person. Hi, Jeff. How are you today? It's nice of you to join us. So tomorrow we're going to talk about all aspects of the whole person, and the whole person involves social aspects. So I'm going to talk about getting out there and learning some new skills, some new social skills. We cannot stay in our houses and be totally free of any social activity. You just can't live like that. And COPD, Exercise to Healthy Living, is one of those sites that is going to help you to stay on track with your motivation, your hi Gwen, your motivation, your exercise, which I have said already is your medicine. This is our medicine, is exercise. If we don't exercise, we will lose everything, and we will lose lung function as we stop exercising. And we can get it back, a little bit of it back, but remember that your lungs are not an organ that repairs itself. So we have to be really, really careful, right, about allowing our lungs to get too sedated, So we're going to look at the whole person, and when we look at the whole person, hi Jackie. Yeah, actually, Jackie says that she's turning a little bit agoraphobic and in need of anxiety meds. And this is part and parcel with staying home all the time, right? I'm a little agoraphobic myself. In fact, hi Barbara. I was, many years ago, I started a business. I quit work and I started a business, and I got all, excited about my business, and I was going to do all this work at home. And I found that I was becoming very agoraphobic, and I had to get out of the house. So here's Hunter today. Hunter has come to stay with Granny and Papa for the week. And so Hunter has just gotten up from his nap. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to the baby, Hunter. Say hi. And Hunter has just finished his snack with Papa. And he's going to probably go for a little walk outside, eh? I'm telling you, there is a reason why we have babies when we're young. I can tell you that right now, because they are a lot of work. So Hunter's with us for this week because his babysitter's off on holidays, and he is a very handsome boy. But I got to tell you, George and I it's only Tuesday, and we're like exhausted. So I was, saying to my daughter, like, I really want to take care of him, and I really want to do daycare for him, but I think that Granny and Papa are just a little bit too old for it, let me tell you. So we were talking about the social thing, right? And becoming agoraphobic, when you recognize that as something that is happening to you, it is really time to make an effort to get out. Now, in North America, we're embarking on spring, and I know some people are from other countries, and around New Zealand and Australia, and you might not be in your springtime. We are coming into springtime, and springtime is a great time of renewal. And so even if you, Jackie, even if you use a wheelchair, so what? Do what you can to get out of the house. It just means, it doesn't even mean that you have to leave your house. It just means you should go and sit on the porch or go and sit out front. Go and take your oxygen, make the effort. With Hunter being here, he has to go out every day because otherwise he won't sleep for us in the afternoon. So we make sure that we take him out every day. And it is quite the trek, let me tell you, because I have to get my oxygen tank and I have to get my walker. And we have to do that because Hunter has to walk with my walker because he's not quite walking yet, right? And so making the effort a couple of days was really, really hard. I had to really think of how I was going to do it. Hi, Tammy. But I did it, and I felt so much better just having been out in the fresh air for 20 minutes. So think about the social aspect of your mental health and getting out to meet people and joining groups like Exercise to Healthy Living, COPD, Exercise to Healthy Living. Join some social groups, either online or in person. If you can make it in person, it's even better. And I'll have some tips and pointers on where to find those groups in my blog tomorrow. One of the parts of mental health that makes up the whole person is our cognitive or learning abilities. Learning something new every day is a must. You must learn something new every day. You have to have something to keep your mind fresh and to keep it occupied. So go to sites like Pinterest or YouTube and learn something new every day because this keeps you resilient. It builds up your resilience, right? It builds up your confidence, and from there we go on. Looking at your emotional state and looking at, yes, COPD, Exercise to Healthy Living, is a Facebook group. If you join the group, you can go into the chat rooms, right? And talk to, and they're very, very good at supporting you through your exercise and nutrition. So yes, it is a Facebook group. Looking at your emotional state is one of the big parts of mental health. And one of the big things about the emotional part of it is how we self-talk. So self-talk is so very important. We must eliminate all of those negative thoughts that we have in our minds. We must eliminate all of the negative self-talk. This is a really, really hard exercise that I'm going to give you this week. Eliminate the negative self-talk. And when you start saying something like, oh, I'm so stupid, or I'm so slow, or I'm so stupid I can't even bend over. Hi, Elaine. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us today. When you start talking, when you start hearing yourself say something like, I'm so stupid, or I'm so slow, or I can't hardly breathe, how can I do this? Make yourself stop. Ask yourself if you would allow somebody to talk to you that way, or if you would talk to somebody else that way. And I want you to think about it like this. You are my friend. I do not want people talking to my friends in this manner. Only positive self-talk. Give yourself credit for the things that you've achieved. Give yourself credit for the things that you do every day on a daily basis. None of what we do is easy, and I get that. I get it more than most people. But we must not allow negative self-talk to infiltrate our brains, because this is the thing that will always keep us down. Do not talk to my friend and tell her that she is stupid or that she is too slow. It doesn't matter how slow you go. It's that you go. Physically, some people don't look at the physical part of mental health, but let's talk about it, right? Because when we are physically active and when we achieve our physical activities for the day, we have accomplished something. We have something where we can kind of pat ourselves on the back and say, holy cow, look at this, I achieved this. So I have a Fitbit, and I follow my Fitbit. I'm always watching how many steps I have, make sure that I have enough steps. And I can tell you that I do not do 10,000 steps a day, and I know that we're supposed to do. The Heart and Stroke Association says that you should be doing 10,000 steps a day. I think that this is a bit excessive for somebody with COPD, unless you can do it easily. So I strive for about 5,000 steps a day, and I'm quite proud of that. But I try to do it every day, and I can tell when I'm not feeling well. I can tell when things are not going well because I'm not keeping up with my physical activity. And one of the things that I do to keep myself motivated is I write it down. So everybody knows that I have what's called a health tracker journal. I write in my journal every single day, and every week I evaluate and analyze what the week was like. I do a mood tracker, I do a gratitude tracker, I do a food tracker, I do a weather tracker, I do a physical tracker. Your trackers are the things that you track, that you look for the triggers of what causes your exacerbations. So trackers are the things that the information that you're gathering, and they're teaching you the triggers of what makes you worse or better. So once we're past the physical and we've gotten to a place where we are comfortable with the physical abilities that we have, we're not going to call them inabilities because that's too negative. That's the negative side of it. Once we are tracking them in our journal, we should be proud of ourselves. Everybody should be proud of themselves, because I want you to think about this. No matter how much you do or don't do, if you weren't sick right now, and if you didn't have COPD, and your doctor didn't tell you that you needed to exercise, would you? Did you before you got sick? I know I didn't. I would never have gotten a treadmill. I would never, ever, ever have thought of I would never have thought that exercise was something that I could do. Of course it wasn't. I couldn't do it because I smoked. And I didn't worry about physical activity. So now, every time I accomplish my 5,000 steps, I think, whoa, this is fabulous, because otherwise I would not have done this. So once we're done our physical, we're looking at our spiritual. And I ask people all the time to believe in something that's bigger than themselves. We are not that big. And whether it's God or Buddha or whatever it is, believe in something that's bigger than yourself. Even if it's just karma, it will keep you in line, and it keeps you, it makes you a good person. Then we have nutritional. And nutrition is one of the biggest nutrition is one of the biggest parts, or it plays a big part in our mental health. If we start cutting out sugary foods, we start watching our diet, we start eating properly, exercise becomes easier. We're building the muscles and the vitamins. We're taking in the vitamins that we need to keep our bodies healthy and strong. And we do this with a food tracker. So it sounds like, and Barbara, yes, I get you, it sounds like a lot of work going through all of these trackers. But I can tell you that it takes me about 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night to get my journal set up and to write down all of these things that I happen to accomplish throughout the day. It's invaluable information for a couple of reasons. One is it's a legacy I'm leaving for my kids, so that they can look back and they can see all the things that I went through, all the things that happened. If anything happens to them and they get this kind of a thing, they will know some of the triggers and the trackers and stuff that happened to me. The other thing is that it is my legacy. It's what I'm leaving them. It's about me. It's about me and my character and the things that I went through. I look at my journal and all of these things that I do on a daily basis to help control my mental health. And this is what gets me through from day to day. So it's like going out on a bright sunny day. Every day is a bright sunny day because, and I'm certainly not saying anything about, being healthy to begin with, because I really wasn't mentally or physically. So that's going to be my talk tomorrow, and giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. Because if you don't take care of your mental health, you will have nothing to give anybody else. And we depend on people to take care of us. So we owe it to them to give the best of what we have to give. Last week I was talking a little bit about my journey with Trilogy. So my doctor did take me off Trilogy and put me back on Spiriva and Symbicort, which, I was on before. That was our original puffers. And the doctor was very concerned. So she called me 2 or 3 times last week. I was pretty surprised, eh? But now I'm starting to think that there might be a little bit more side effects than what we actually realized, right? Almost as soon as I stopped taking it, I stopped having the cramping and the muscle soreness. My hands are no longer sore. I don't have any of those symptoms that I had. But what I did have, and this was because I wrote this in my journal, that I knew my shoes were too tight for me, and I've never had swelling in my feet. And my legs, I don't swell there. I swell in my girth, around my thing. So yeah, let's talk about waking up in the middle of the night, Jeff. So one thing that is left from the Trilogy is that I've now had to increase my Lasix by twice the dosage, and we're trying to get the water off, but it's not coming off, so I don't know what we're going to do now. She's going to call me, I think, tomorrow. So something to watch for with the Trilogy, guys. If you're thinking of changing, if you're thinking of changing the medication, and remember what I said last week. When things started to go negative, like my weight started to increase, and I started to feel muscle pain in that, I stopped journaling because I was blaming myself for it. Remember that this was not my fault. This was the drugs that were causing it. So the way I realized that was by looking back at when this had started and what the triggers and the trackers were. So valuable information as far as I'm concerned, because now I'm back on my old medications and I'm feeling much, much better. So while we're on the subject of mental health, yes, Jeff, let's talk about sleep. Who sleeps? What are you talking about, sleeping? Who sleeps? So I wake up every morning at 3 o'clock. It's like somebody nudges me and says, come on, get up. And once I'm awake, Trilogy, Trelegy, is a new puffer. It was a new puffer that was introduced. And my doctor sounded like he was putting all his patients on this Trilogy. It is so new in Canada that you can only get it from the manufacturer. You could not get it from the drugstore. They had to call the manufacturer to get it. So Trilogy, Trelegy, look it up. It's a new puffer. So sleep, who sleeps? Does anybody sleep? Because I wake up and I'm on a BiPAP machine, so I shouldn't be waking up at, 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyways, I do every night. Every single night, I wake up at 3 o'clock. And the problem is that I'm too tired to really get out of bed. But I'm not tired enough to go back to sleep. So I lay there and I toss and I turn and I toss and I turn and I talk to myself and all of that jazz. And I go back to sleep around 6 o'clock. And then I sleep until 10. And then half my day's gone before I wake up. And I think, if I just went to bed earlier, if I got up earlier, I would go to bed earlier and that would straighten it out. So guess what? Hunter comes at 7 o'clock in the morning. So we've been up 2 days, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was up this morning at 3 o'clock. And then I had to get up at 7 with him. So I was like, oh my God. And cannabis. And does it make you sleep? For some people it does. For me it doesn't. So it's not a solution for me. I know a lot of people say, they take it just before they go to bed, right? Oh, you're very lucky, Carol. You're very, very lucky. Because this isn't just, well, I want to say this isn't just from COPD. This started when I started going through menopause. So it's been a while, let me tell you. Oh, well, Sandra, you should call me. Give me a call. I'll be up. So, your sleeping patterns really have a lot to do with your mental health as well, because this can really grate on your mental health. And the only thing that I want to warn people about, I said it to somebody on one of the support groups, right? I think that alcohol is a lung suppressant. I was told not to drink alcohol, like excessively at least. So I don't drink anymore. I used to drink a little bit, but I don't drink anymore. And so I don't know. I don't think that alcohol is the actual solution. I would like to think that indica at night, like something like that, would help me, but I guess everybody's awake at 3. I don't know. I can't get back to sleep, so it's a bummer. So my computer has had my site. Oh, I hate technology. So I love technology, but it doesn't like me. So I'm having problems with my site, and a lot of people went to sign up for my contest because I had my contest open, and I want to get this contest over with. And I hear you, Jeff. I do it myself. I wake up 5 or 6 times a night. I'm on oxygen. I have a BiPAP. I do take an something pill that's supposed to put me to sleep, and it doesn't. And I do take a melatonin that's supposed to put me to sleep, and it doesn't. And sometimes I have a shot of rye. I'll have just a shot, like a quick shot before I go to bed. But I don't think alcohol is the key, because I don't think it's good for you. Yeah. So for those of you who tried to sign up for my contest and couldn't, I apologize. It is Bluehost that is giving me the problem. I think you probably remember when I had trouble a couple of months ago, and still having problems with my. It's the people who are hosting my website, and so we're working frantically trying to get this done. And I'm having a Skype meeting tomorrow morning with my person who looks after my website, and I'm hoping to have this done by the end of the week. I really want to get some computer problems. Oh, and then after my site crashed last week, then I came in to go onto my computer to call my computer person, and or my site person, and my computer crashed. So it was a pretty crashy, shitty weekend, right? And so that's why I wasn't on Facebook or really Instagram or anything all week. So, and of course that added to all of my mental health problems, and it also added to my sleepless nights, right? So, I have not tried a dual action melatonin. Now, Elaine, where are you from? And Tammy, if you go to bed at 3 o'clock, what time do you get up? Because I want to try and go to bed at like 11 o'clock, right? After the 11 o'clock news, I'd like to go to bed, and I'd like to be up in the morning, but it just doesn't work that way. So, I'm having some problems with this, but I'm hoping that when you start to see my posts back up again, You're in New Brunswick. Okay, so I'm going to have a look at that because I'm in Ontario, Elaine, and I'm going to look for that dual action melatonin because I'm on like 3 milligrams, but I don't know. And melatonin is a natural. For those of you who I do know this about melatonin, melatonin is a natural product that your body produces, and so taking a little bit more melatonin to help you to sleep is good for you. Like it won't hurt you, right? So that's about it. My blog post will be up tomorrow. There was no blog post last week because I was having trouble with my site. So there will be a blog post tomorrow, and it's all about 10 milligrams, It's all about mental health, and everything this month, of course, will be mental health and how we can help each other. I'd really like to get your feedback on... Yeah, see, Tammy, I get up at 10 a.m. too, but I kind of feel like my day's wasted if I get up at 10 o'clock. Then I don't get really, working and into my office until about 12, and then that's not good for me. And I also have clients, sometimes I have clients who would like to get things done on their way to work. So last week I had a client who wanted to come at 8:30, and I was like, oh, please don't. So I'm hoping to get the contest up and everything done on Friday, by Friday, I'm hoping to. So when you see my posts up again, please do go sign up. Follow me on Instagram at Catch Your Breath 60, on Twitter at Catch Your Breath 60, Facebook Catch Your Breath 60, and of course my blog. You will find my blog at catchyourbreath60.com. And in order to be in the contest, you must sign up for my email list. So if you go to catchyourbreath60.com, and I'll put a post up later, I'll put a link up later. One of the first things that you should see is it's my 2nd anniversary. And remember that for my 2nd anniversary, we will be giving away 2 of my Catch Your Breath mugs. They're brand new ones. They're not these ones that have been used, by the way. They're right up there. So 2 of these mugs. We have a custom print that is shown in on my blog page. It is a custom print that is done by a local artist, and it is yours. It is an 8.5 by 11, and it is yours. And I have some jewelry to give away. I also have a person who's going to do a scarf for us because, we always need a scarf, right? So there's going to be lots of stuff to give away. And as soon as I get my site back up and I get everything working properly, I'm going to make the date for it, and it's going to be the end of this month. So I'm hoping that everybody will follow me. I absolutely and totally love your comments here. And I love to read all of your comments. And I try... That's funny. That's funny, Jeff. I try to to leave a comment for each one. Sometimes I get a little bit busy and I might forget. But I try to go in later on and leave comments for everybody. So I really, really appreciate everybody's comments, both on my blog and on my Catch Your Breath 60 on Facebook page. Please do follow me. I will be back here next Tuesday. I will be a bit more rested and a bit more with it next week because Hunter will be with his new babysitter. So thank you all for joining me today. Catchyourbreath60.com. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and don't forget my blog. That's where the contest will be happening. I'll see you next week at 3 o'clock for tea time.